simply one of our favorites to talk ball with. And boy, is there lots to talk about with the divisional playoffs starting on Saturday. Louis Riddick from ESPN back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Louis?
I'm good, man. I'm just looking out the window. Northeast, like this wrecked with snow right now. I'm loving it.
Okay, so you just huddle up inside and you got nonstop football to be watching all weekend long. Louis, why are C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love performing the way that they're performing right now? Purdy coming in the draft last year performing well. Are we seeing something about quarterbacks coming into the draft and then performing so well quickly that's similar? Is there a through line here?
Yeah, I think it's always a number of different things, Rich, as you know. I mean, because it's such an interdependent position, and it really is contingent upon a lot of things being set up to help these guys succeed on top of their own individual just brilliance, all right? And we always are looking for like a real simple answer, but there isn't. Okay, so let's look at CJ, right? Think about Bobby Slowick. Many people knew his name, but didn't know that he would be able to craft an offense that would consistently allow CJ to do what he does best on a very consistent basis, which is read the field very quickly, scan full field very quickly, throw the football with magnificent touch on the second level, throws catchable balls deep down the field, and it's all matching up. And just think about the rapport that he built with Tank Dell and Nico Collins immediately, Dalton Schultz immediately, and then the offensive line, despite being beat up a little bit, still kept him, upright enough to where he was still able to utilize that tremendous pocket presence that he showed at Ohio State. So it's all just kind of working together. The defense starts playing much better. D'Amico gets that place. Look, they were top 5 in the NFL in pass rush win rate all year long. I mean, this is a team that was getting the ball back for him, getting him more cracks at it. So there's so many things that really came together for CJ to then show people that, hey, remember all that pre-draft talk about my process power and my test-taking ability?
How insane.
Never floating that crap out there about me. Yeah, okay, how do you like me now? Right? For Jordan, he went to the perfect place where he could sit, watch, and whether you love or hate Aaron Rodgers, you're watching a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer go about his craft. And it's not just about how he went about it on the field, because nobody can really do what Aaron does on the field. Hell, Adam Stanovich, our offensive coordinator, was just talking about the fact of some of the challenges that Aaron presented on the field, which was he changed so many things at the line of scrimmage that sometimes when they went back and watched tape, they didn't even know what the play call was relative to what Matt said in, because Aaron would change it. I'm just talking about the process of getting ready, how to be a pro, how to watch tape, how to practice, how to communicate with wide receivers, offensive line, running backs. Jordan got the benefit of watching all of that. So then when it's his time, the offensive line is still rock solid. The running game principles are still rock solid. Aaron Jones is still all-pro caliber. Then you bring in all these young wideouts who have this kind of collegiate type of mentality, meaning, hey, man, we need to get all on the same page with Jordan, because you know what? We can take this thing and bring it back to prominence, and it's going to be all of us young dudes. And the power of that kind of collective desire to want to kind of raise something is very powerful. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about some of the people that you went to college with, right, that you went into college with and you left college with, are still some of the people that you identify with the most. And that's why people like building through the draft. Because those guys almost look at it like, hey, it's almost like we're back in college, but we're getting paid a lot more. Maybe not too much more considering how NIL is now, but you're getting paid a lot more. And Jordan benefited from all that. And on top of it, I'll tell you what, Matt LaFleur now, people question, right, was it Aaron? Was it Matt? Is Matt really that good? Was he that good in Tennessee? He didn't really do anything in Washington. Yeah, he's that good. He's that good. And the play calling is spectacular. And the thing I like the most about what Green Bay's doing and what Jordan is benefiting from is that they will bash you with the run game. Absolutely bash you. And then put Jordan under center and run play action pass, and you see people running wide open all over the place because they got your head spinning as a defender. I don't want to be too far away from these running backs when they're coming downhill, so let me scoot up here. Oops, They didn't hand it off. Now he's throwing it over my head. They've got you right where they want you.
So then let me ask you a sports talk radio question. Which of the teams, Texans and Packers, that shocked last week have the better shot to do it again and upset a 1 seed on Saturday?
Oh, my gosh.
It could be neither. I mean, you could think that.
Yeah.
But it's up to you.
Because I was just in Baltimore recently, and it's just rock solid. It's airtight down there as far as what they built, I believe. I'm going to say Green Bay has the better shot. Okay? And I love CJ. You know I love CJ. You know how I feel about CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans. But Baltimore is the truth, man. John Harbaugh, Eric DeCosta, Ozzie Newsome, they hit it out the park. It's grand slam after grand slam after grand slam in terms of coaching staff additions this year, moving T. Martin from wide receivers to quarterbacks, bringing in Greg Lewis to coach the wide receivers, bringing in Chuck Smith to coach the outside linebackers. You see what he did for Jadeveon Clowney. Bernard Wilson, who's now the pass game coordinator, secondary coach. You see what he's done with Kyle Hamilton. I mean, it's ridiculous what's happening there. And last but not least, how's Lamar looking?
Yeah, right. I know. So it's kind of like a mission accomplished so far, right? That they got the 1 seed. Todd Monken's coming in. Lamar looks superb. I mean, the darts that he is throwing, the windows that he is hitting, is truly MVP quality. I think he's going to win the award and deserves to win the award. The question is how does it look in the playoffs? Right now, we're about to see that.
I think he if Lamar could ever burst onto the scene more, now is when he's going to. Simply because it's a bigger stage. You know what the almost, I don't know, I'm going to make up a word here, the systemic naysayers say about him. Okay?
Yes.
And now it's the biggest stage. It's the biggest stage to where now you get to see, I used to say this about Bill and used to call New England the Death Star. Now you get to see the full power of the Death Star that Baltimore has built. And with Lamar in particular, and John Harbaugh described it as this, we've given him really, like he really has the keys to the kingdom now. Because Todd trusts him and says, Lamar, do your thing when you get up to the line of scrimmage as far as getting us in and out of bad plays, making sure wide receivers are where they need to be. If we need to spread the field, we'll spread the field and go empty and go 5 wides. Now you pick them apart. If we need to condense it and bash them, with justice, or bring in now Dalvin Cook and let him run the ball down the throat, we'll do that. If we need to run you, we'll do that. We're multiple. We have answers for everything now. And I trust you to make the right decisions. That has empowered him to take his game to an even higher level. The relationship that he has with T. Martin, every quarterback will tell you, it's great to have a quarterback coach who's played the position just like I have because he can see it through. We're so much further down the road as far as our communication. Mm-hmm. That was a home run move on the part of John Harbaugh, an absolute home run move on top of Todd Monken. They are going to roll. It ain't going to be easy against Houston because you saw the clip. You saw the clip of what D'Amico told Christian Harris.
Yeah, how cool was that? He's basically said, do this, and you go to the house, and then I mean, that is so powerful when you see a coach saying, grabbing the tablet, pointing out, this is what you do this, and we'll go to the house. And he does it. How powerful is that, Lewis? That is, I saw that.
Probably the best clip I've seen this year.
I love it.
Maybe the best clip I've seen in a long, long time. Okay, folks, you want to know what coaching is?
That's it.
You know what it means to put your player in a position to succeed?
Yeah.
Here it is.
I loved it.
Watch anything else, just watch this.
Yeah. Lewis Riddick here from ESPN on the Rich Eisen Show. So let's jump to Sunday. What are your 2 cents on Lions Bucks? How do you see that playing out, Lewis?
Well, Todd Bowles is going to say, hey, look, Jared, I can't let you get comfortable. I don't know if with your offensive line and your play action passing game, if I can just rely on 4, obviously, and I'm not really built that way. So I'm sending the house after you, dude. I'm sending it after you. And Antoine and the boys in the back end, you're going to have to hold it down. Because if we let Jared Goff get comfortable, as we've seen what he can do with you when he's comfortable, it's over. It's over. That team is just rolling. Because then if he's comfortable and the running game's coming off the line of scrimmage, then we're really in trouble because this offensive line will bash you too. And Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, like I said, I think he will be in the top 2 or 3 in terms of MVP candidates next year if they just set him free. And I know that's hard to do when you have David Montgomery who can kill you too. But Jahmyr Gibbs, Jahmyr's super special. Super, super, super special. He can be better than Alvin. He can be better than Christian. He can be better than all of them. So I think that's a heck of a problem for Todd to have to deal with. But here's the thing. Detroit has to deal with something too. What's Detroit's Achilles heel? It's the outside lane passes down the field on defense. If you can protect it up and make sure Aiden doesn't wreck your game, you can get this team down the field and you can burn them for chunk plays over and over and over again. And who's better to do that than the guys that they have on that football team at wide receiver? And Baker can throw it down the field now. Mike Evans has to have his best game of the year. And he could, and he should. So this could be one of those where, look, I love Detroit. I thought I picked them to be in the NFC title game back in January. I think they'll win the game, but I think this is going to be nip and tuck.
Ooh.
Because Tampa's playing with house money, so to speak. Like people didn't expect us to be here. Baker saying there, you told me I suck. I was a bust as number 1 pick. Todd Bowles was the worst head coach in the history of the Jets. That's what people say. He's just benefiting off of what Bruce had done, blah, blah, blah. They have nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
The most dangerous kind of opponent. What a great game to watch that will be.
Oh, baby. And then, of course, it leads to the prize fight. I mean, this is, honestly, I don't mean to, that's not to denigrate the other 3, but I mean, come on, right? And this one's in Western New York for a change. And so the Chiefs, I wouldn't say they flipped the switch, but I think they found it on the wall. You know what I'm saying? And the Bills are playing some of the best football we've seen in the last month and a half, 2 months, and they are feeling it. They're feeling good. And Allen is just a touchdown-making machine. I'll say it. I mean, he like Kaepernick, in his year where he was running it, throwing it, and he was like, we called him the ATM. Like you put the card in and out came either checking or savings money. It was just somewhere. It was coming out. The money was coming out. So that's my long-winded setup to ask you your thoughts on this game, how it's going to play out.
Yeah. I think I heard or I read where, people or someone asked Patrick the question, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, is the defense really leading the way here? Are you riding the defense? Is it possible that you guys could ride the defense all the way back to the Super Bowl this year instead of you in particular in the offense? I think his answer was, yeah, absolutely. We see what's happening here. We see how we're set up this year. And I guess what that leads me into is this. The key to this game for Kansas City, knowing what ails Kansas City offensively, which is the lack of consistent, explosive down-the-field playmaking. Not that they can't do it. It's just not consistent like it was. The key to this game is defensively, their team speed and their physicality on defense has to be on full display. It has to be at its very, very, very best. And they are very good on all 3 levels. You see the clip last week of L'Jarius Sneed, although it was on a slippery track, just pounding Tyreek Hill and throwing him to the ground at the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. Got up on the line and pressed. I mean, just really knocked him to the ground. That's what it. When you talk about a fist fight and a heavyweight, that's how they have to play Buffalo. That's how they have to play Buffalo. It has to be every play. I'm basically cocking my fist back and I'm hitting you right in the face before you even get started. Chris Jones have to be at your very best. Charles Omenihu be at your very best. Tranquil be at your very best. Willie Gay, Nick Bolton. These guys can run now, and they can't miss. They can't miss when Josh breaks the line of scrimmage. They can't miss when James Cook breaks the line of scrimmage. And L'Jarius, you can't let Stephon get going. You can't. And they're and Spagnuolo's going to have to call a masterpiece. And I think they can do it. It'll be tough as hell. I mean, what if there's a place, maybe, I don't know, which place will have the best environment this week? Probably Detroit. Detroit will be like unconscious. But Buffalo's going to be crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, because again, they have 2 home games in a row, which and one of them's Mahomes. Like this is it. Like they have been I'm sure, just sitting there shaking their heads in these postseason losses going, why do we have to be there? You know, and they finally get it in their house, and they are playing terrific, and defensively they've been terrific. I likened it to the knight from Monty Python's Holy Grail that keeps getting chopped up, and he's like, it's just a flesh wound. They honestly, they probably lead the league in star players that you say, well, that guy they can't afford to lose, and they keep going. It's unbelievable, you know.
And see, and everything I've said so far about that matchup about Kansas City, like, and people are like, hey, knucklehead, they still have Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's true. And, you know, Rashee Rice is starting to look like a guy who said, you know what? Like, he looked around and was like, well, no one else wants to do it. I guess I'll do it. I'm the rookie. Said, I'll do it then. I'll become the guy. If you want me to be the guy, I'll be the guy. You want a hero? I'll be your hero. And Travis Kelce is pretty good. He's still pretty good. And that offensive line is still a top 3 offensive line in football. So they got to hold it down. And Andy Reid, he's pretty good.
I can't wait.
This is a great get. Like, I'm sitting here talking to you, dude, and I'm sitting here like just for a minute and thinking, like, everyone says the divisional round in the NFL season is always the best weekend. Like this weekend out, like, honestly, if you love football, you have to tell your family. If there's people in your family who love football, get away from me this weekend. Leave me alone. The house has to be burning down. Okay, like literally, even if it is burning down, it's like that little meme or that GIF where the dog's sitting there and everything's burning.
Yeah,
he's sitting there going, fine. That's this week.
Everything's fine. You're right. It is, because anybody could win it. You could truly say it. You cannot sit here and say the teams that are in it, all of them have no shot. You really can't say it, and that's what it's all about. And that's why I wanted to talk to you today, Lewis. You get me fired up. I love talking ball with you, and I look forward to having you back on whenever you're willing, because, again, obviously there's more to talk about this year, and then, my gosh, we'll be in Detroit for the draft and everything leading up to that. I would love your 2 cents on that, too.
Cannot wait. Of course, man.
You're the best. Thanks, Lewis.
Got it. Thanks a lot.
Louis Riddick, everybody, joining us here on the show. Oh, by the way, he also gave us a new fantasy team name. Systemic Naysayers.
That's pretty good, actually.
Boy, that's a very long-winded way of saying Bill Polian. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.